Welcome to Joe Stunner Boxing. Nahir Albright, always the bridesmaid, never the bride, you might say. Uh, he came off an 18-month bit of inactivity there, quite a long time, 18 months, and he sprang an upset against Kelvin Davis, who was previously undefeated. Now, Albright is now 17 wins, 7 KOs, 2 defeats. One was to previously undefeated Jermaine Ortiz, and that was I think it was a unanimous decision. It was back in 2022. That was his last defeat. He's also, he lost his debut, a majority 4-round decision. That's nothing, is it? I think it was against another debutant. But he did have a fight with Kelvin Davis in October of 2023. That was his last fight. And he lost a majority decision, but it was changed to a no contest when Davis tested positive for a bit of the old, Robert Marley. So only the 2 defeats on his record. Very good fighter, Nahir Albright. Quite underrated. One of those fighters you think he's going to slip into that gatekeeper role. Very, very good. You're going to have to be very good to beat him. But given the right opportunities, if he springs a couple of good wins, he could become a very viable contender. Now we'll get to Kelvin Davis and the aftermath of this fight in a moment. But at 29, Albright, he's probably as good as he's going to get. He's in his prime, and he went into this 140-pound fight against Davis as, some would say an underdog, but if you look at Davis's resume, he hasn't faced anyone as good as Nahir Albright, and it kind of showed from quite early on, because Davis, he's a 6'1" southpaw. You look at him and you think, Christ, how does he make the weight? But whereas Albright, well, how tall is he? 5'9", I suppose, something like that. Maybe 5'8", maybe. And Davis, southpaw, rangy, long levers, gangly. You would expect him to sort of keep it all on the outside, bang, bang, bang with a southpaw jab, bring the backhand over. And I suppose he tried to do that, but the impression I got from quite early on was that Davis didn't really have any kind of game plan, whereas Albright knew what he was doing. With Albright, it was, I'm going to get in close, I'm going to crawl underneath, tunnel my way in quickly, and then let my hands go. And sure enough, in the second round, one of those overhand, was it an overhand right? It rattled Davis seriously. His legs were splaying all over the place, and he was in trouble. And because of his height and the fact that he is so skinny, really, he looked like he was about to go down. He didn't. He managed to wrap those long tentacles around Albright and get out of jail, but he was hurt. Definitely hurt in the second round. I don't mean slightly buzzed, I mean hurt. And then in the third round, he got stung another couple of times. So Albright was having real success with his tactics, which was get in, like I say, get in low, keep yourself low, high guard, get in and then bring the overhand right up, bang the body. Whereas Davis didn't seem to know what he was doing other than to move a bit and jab. He wasn't really holding his feet much. And more importantly, he wasn't getting Albright's respect. Albright from early on was, I'm coming for you. You've got all the physical advantages, supposed physical advantages, but it was noticeable that Albright looked physically stronger than Davis, and you had to wonder. I sat there watching this fight thinking, I wonder if Davis is in the wrong weight division. Maybe he should be up at welter, because 6'1", he didn't seem to have much physical strength. And Albright, you wouldn't say he was a big 140-pounder. He's good. He's big enough. But we're not talking. He's not really buff built. And he doesn't look like a big powerhouse. But he was able to keep some consistent pressure on Davis. Davis sort of regrouped, gathered himself, managed to sort of get rid of the fog that was in his head, and was landing some some nice little cameo combinations, but nothing really consistent. The consistent work was coming from Albright. And Albright didn't seem bothered about the southpaw stance either. Never mind the height and the reach. The southpaw stance didn't seem to bother him. He fought, to be honest, Albright like a bit of a veteran, whereas Davis, he seemed to be a little bit green. Like, I haven't faced this before. What's going on here? Whereas Albright was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Bring it to me. So the rounds ticked by, and I don't think after the third round, Davis was hurt badly again. But it was noticeable that he was a little bit hesitant whenever Albright got up close. He was letting his hands go, and there was one, I think it was that seventh round, when suddenly he sprang to life, Davis. And he did hold the range between them, and he was letting those long levers go and, letting a good combination go. And he was thinking, well, where's that been? Because he needed that earlier on in the fight, and it was his most convincing round. Now, the majority decision, I thought Albright won this fight. I don't know. You always get one judge, don't you, that dissents and gives a draw, and you're thinking, how the hell did he get a draw? She get a draw? Because I thought Albright clearly won this fight. The scores were, obviously 95-95, 97-93, and 96-94. I think I had this 97-93, I think, for Albright. So I agreed with one of the judges. But this is a good win for Albright because it puts him in the shop window. He had the fight with Davis. He's had the fight with Ortiz. Like I say, never always the bridesmaid, never the bride sort of situation. But he was in danger of slipping into that gatekeeper role, and now he isn't. Now, I mentioned the Keyshawn Davis fight, which was 18 months ago. And by the way, Albright didn't fight like a guy with any ring rust, despite having been out for 18 months. But the fight that was a no contest because of Davis's little recreational smoking, that was a no contest. And after the fight, allegedly, there was an incident involving Keyshawn Davis going to Albright's dressing room and headbutting him or getting into some sort of altercation. And this is alleged. I don't want to accuse the man if he's innocent. But Albright said afterwards, he was interviewed afterwards, he said, I was in my locker room celebrating my victory with my team, Keyshawn and his little brother, which would be Keon Davis. There's three of them in there, all fighters. They came in, they were saying their older brother, Kelvin Davis, was mad. And then Albright says that Keyshawn Davis grabbed him and headbutted him. And Albright has said, he also said he wants a rematch with Keyshawn. He doubts that will happen because Davis is focused on getting big money fights. But of course, Keyshawn Davis blew his title. He came in, was it 4.3 pounds overweight? Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you're that much overweight, you haven't even tried to make weight. Either that or you're so completely unprofessional that you really want to have a good look in the mirror if you want to be a pro fighter. But after this altercation, maybe Davis will decide he wants to get down. Well, no, this was at 140, wasn't it? So yeah, maybe he'll come up and fight Albright again. Minus the recreational marijuana use. But yeah, if this is true and he's gone to the guy's dressing room and headbutted him, I mean, come on, man, what's all that about? With your brother, you're going there. Just accept it. It's a defeat. Kelvin Davis can come back from this if he wants to. You lose a fight, you lose a fight. Sometimes the other man's better than you, and he might even be more talented than you. It's just that on the night he got your number. So I think this is a very poor show by Keyshawn Davis, who's had a bad fucking weekend, doesn't he? If he gets nicked for this and he's also blown his title, it's really sad, really sad state of affairs. And Keyshawn Davis might want to have a good look at himself and kind of curtail his anger. But anyway, what do you think of this fight? Let me know. I thought Albright was a deserved winner. You may disagree. What do you think? What do you think about Kelvin Davis? Should he go up in weight? He looked very, very weak at 140, but yeah. Anyway, let me know. Let me know what you think. Comments below. And if you like this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel if you're new, because you're helping us out. You're a good person. It takes a second and costs you nothing. Why not subscribe? Why not hit the like button? Spread the love and all that other woo-woo stuff. I say woo-woo because Albright's nickname is Woo. Don't know why, but it is. Anyway, thanks a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Looking forward to reading your comments. Bye for now.